Warning! This video contains Go-Bots and immature content. Ask your parents before watching.
Why do they call this guy Buggy Robo? Is it because A, because he bugs people? Is it B, because he's an Insecticon? Is it C, because he's secretly a Volkswagen Bug? Or is it D, because he transforms into a Doom Buggy? Watch this video to find out. Welcome to Cardboard Bots. The answer is D. He's called Buggy Robo because he's a robot that turns into a Doom Buggy. Or is that a Doom Buggy that turns into a robot? Either way, you get it. He's put out by a Hong Kong-based company called Action Toys. I really enjoy the overall packaging design of this toy line. Action Toys did a great job with it. Now let's set this toy free. You get decent, full-color instructions and a customizable figure stand. I've talked about this type of stand at length in my review for Missile Tank Robo and don't feel the need to go into much detail about it here. In summary, it's okay, but I don't think it adds much value. I could easily do without it if it meant shaving a few bucks off the price. Multiple plastic clamshells protect the toy and it feels very secure. He's number 12 in their line of toys based on the anime Mashin Robo, Revenge of Chronos. That show was based around the Japanese Mashin Robo toys put out by Bandai in the early 80s. All the toys had real clever names, like a motorbike that turned into a robot called Bike Robo, or a shuttle that turned into a robot called Shuttle Robo, or a crane that turned into a robot called Crane Robo. You get the picture. The name Buggy Robo was a no-brainer. So all these toys, these machines that turn into robots, or machine robos if you will, were known in North America as Go-Bots, and they were licensed to Tonka. We in the West got a cartoon featuring these toys called Challenge of the Go-Bots. It was made by Hanna-Barbera and looked distinctly un-anime-like. Read that as distinctly uncool. In Asian markets, they got a show called Mashin Robo, Revenge of Chronos. Slick-looking robots, anime girls in sci-fi space armor, and impressive animation. When Action Toys wanted to produce Mashin Robo toys, they didn't get a license from Bandai. Maybe they couldn't afford it, or maybe Bandai didn't want to give them a license. Regardless, they did an end run around Bandai and got the license to produce shows from the Revenge of Chronos production company. That company was Production Reed, sometimes known as Ashy Productions. And I suspect they only got the license to produce toys for Asian markets. Legitimate, clever, but also a little sneaky. Regardless of my speculation, he's a tall, handsome, blue and gray bot, with some details picked out in silver, black, yellow, and red. Some of his parts are die-cast metal. These include his chest, shins, and feet. It gives him a bit of a premium feel, but with painted die-cast, you run the risk of paint chipping. I found at least one paint chip on mine. There's something about bots with big shoulder wheels that I just adore. Let's see how those wheels look on the ground. As Bobby says, he rolls like a champ. He turns into a great looking beach buggy. I don't think he's any specific type of buggy, but it certainly looks like a type made with a fiberglass kit body. In doing the bare minimum research about Doom Buggies, I learned that many of the early ones were made by converting Volkswagen Beetles into off-road vehicles. It's because Beetles were cheap, plentiful, and their simple air-cooled engines were easy to maintain. That and their rear-mounted engines also helped to provide traction on sand and in off-road conditions. So, the answer is C. He's called Buggy Robo because he's secretly a Volkswagen Bug. Notable features of his vehicle mode include an adjustable clear windshield, silver and yellow headlamps, red brakes, dual silver exhaust, silver rims, and pinned wheels. And for those famous beach blanket bingo parties, he comes with a massive portable stereo. It's a pretty neat addition to this toy's reinterpretation. It turns into a weapon, of course, and for those times when you need to just rock out and roll out, it can be attached to the buggy. Just peg it into the rear and party on. Here he is next to Legacy Skids, Toy World B, Masterpiece Roller, Scout Class Movie Hardtop, Power the Prime's Beachcomber, Go-Bots Buggyman, Magic Square 4-wheel drive, and Masterpiece Spike. Here's how he looked in the Revenge of Chronos anime, and here's how his Buggyman counterpart looked in Challenge of the Go-Bots cartoon. Speaking of Go-Bots, let's bring back that toy for a closer comparison. They look pretty great together. The color schemes are identical, but you can see how the vehicle shapes are a bit different. It's inspired by what came before, but it's not a slave to it. The metallic silver highlights are all in the right places, but nothing pops quite like the chrome of the original. An interesting thing about the front tires is that they're split down the middle. The inside tires are faux tires, but the outside edges still spin. it doesn't seem to affect how it rolls. The way the arms fold beneath the buggy reminds me of how the arms transform on Siege Sideswipe. Very similar. It's funny really, because there's enough room in the design for the arms to transform to the side, just like the original toy, if the designer had wanted to go that route. It's almost like Action Toys went out of their way to make sure their toys transformed completely differently than the Bandai toys. They engineered complicated transformations, even when more simplified steps would have done the job. Speaking of design choices, both have windshields that can hinge to various degrees. The windshield on the original toy was always a point of failure, and they are broken or missing from many of the old toys. So far, the new windshield design is holding up. However, it makes me nervous. You probably can't see it well in the video, but the clear plastic windshield actually has a little contact smudge on it from rubbing up against the steering wheel. That steering wheel unfortunately sticks up a little higher than the rest of the dash. It's not a big deal, but it's frustrating because I caused that rubbing on the first day that I transformed him, even though I thought I was being careful. Well, it was the result of a minor flaw in the design, but it's hard not to blame myself because I could foresee it happening. It makes me wanna... What the heck? Sweet ride, bro. Yeehaw! Hey Spike, you forgot Roller. Are you just gonna leave him here? Spike? Who the heck was that? Alright, Buggy Robo is back in all his off-road glory. Seems like a good time to show his transformation. Remove the stereo. Hinge back the rear of the buggy. Hinge in the rear tires and side panels. Peg the panels together to form the lower legs. Unpeg the seat back feet from each other and rotate the legs at the thighs. Once he's upright, rotate his torso. Mind the windshield while you handle him. Whenever you decide to fold it down, don't fold it down so far that it presses against the steering wheel. Rotate out the arms, flip out the hands, drop the shoulder joints down. At this stage, he looks like some sort of buck-tooth bionicle. Untab the die-cast panel and hinge it in place to become the chest. Last but not least, rotate the head to reveal the most Daft Punk face ever.
Harder, better, faster, stronger.
That's one slick bot mode. The transformation is fairly easy, but there are some aspects that you should be aware of. The lower leg panels do not peg together very well. The connection point is toleranced too loosely, and as a result, the leg panels come apart easily. And it's easy to confuse which way the legs should be rotated. The tires are supposed to be on the outside of the legs, but the design still looks good if you rotate the waist and the thighs and have them on the inside. The head joint is very stiff and it's incredibly hard to turn with your fingers. Best to rub it against your thumb to rotate the head. I've already warned you about the issue of folding the windshield too far back against the steering wheel. The greatest issue with the transformation is when going back to vehicle mode. The tab slot connection for how the rear wheel panels attach to the waist and torso are far too tight. The result is unwanted plastic stress marks right from the very first transformation. If you have this toy, can you let me know if these stress marks happen to yours as well? To avoid unnecessary stress on these parts, I tried to leave him in bot mode, which is a shame because he has a great looking vehicle mode. Let's take a look at how he compares to his appearance in the Revenge of Cronos anime, and his character design in Challenge of the Go-Bots. Here's how he compares to some other bots. Here he is next to Legacy Skids, Toy World B, Masterpiece Roller, Power the Primes Beachcomber, Scout Class Movie Hardtop, Go-Bots Buggyman, Magic Square 4-Wheel Drive, Masterpiece Spike. And here he is next to some other lads from the Action Toys Machine Robo series. Here is Steam Robo and Missile Tank Robo. Let's bring out Buggyman again for a closer comparison. They look so good together. The new one is a love letter to the old one. All the design motifs and elements are recreated with care and respect. There are several new features, such as the seat back feet, hideaway leg tires, and modern articulation. I don't think I ever had GoBots Buggyman as a kid. I got him after the fact to have for this video. Actually, getting the older toy was the best part of this whole experience. He's way more satisfying in a way because he's simple and more fun to transform and play with. The poor peg and slot tolerances on the new one really left a bad taste in my mouth. It's a very good toy, partially ruined because of those out-of-box issues. My expectations were high, and I was left feeling disappointed. Despite scuffed paint, worn chrome, peeling stickers, and a stress mark on the window frame, the 80s toy does not disappoint. I expect old, used toys to be imperfect. I don't expect new ones, premium ones, to have problems on day one. What really bugs me is when bots won't stop buzzing around. Stop that already! Get out of here! Alright, now come back and show people what you can do in bot mode. Half of each shoulder wheel can rotate. The head rotates on a very stiff ball joint. Shoulders rotate 360. The faux inside wheels feature shoulders with ball joints and hinges. There's a bicep swivel. And the pinned elbow bends 90 degrees. Ball jointed wrists allow for a wide range of movement and wrist rotation, which I forgot to shoot. 360 waist rotation. Ball jointed hips provide a full range of movement, to the side, to the back, and to the front. He has a thigh swivel. Ratcheted knees provide 4 D10s of movement up to 90 degrees. The feet have a deep upward bend, with minimal ankle pivot. The modern articulation gives him a pretty good walk cycle. Here's my first attempt just walking on the spot. And here's my second attempt going across the cardboard stage. I find animating walking to be rather difficult, but I think all the practice is helping me. Oh, how cute! It's Steam Robo's pants! After spending way too much time animating his legs, I started to wonder about the bottom halves of the other bots from the Machine Robo series. Could their pants be interchangeable? That's an interesting look. And here's Missile Tank Robo's pants. Buggy Robo looks kinda silly with those garish clown shoes, but the blue bottoms look good on Missile Tank Robo. The truthful answer is that no, these parts are not interchangeable. Each mushroom peg and slot connection for waists were all slightly different sizes. My dreams of playing GoBot dress-up have been thwarted before it could be fully realized. I believe that these parts could have been designed to be standardized, or is that just a silly idea? Do you folks ever take apart your Transformers and experiment with part swapping? Okay guys, back to normal. And what's more normal than a reimagined 80s toy with the quintessential accessory of the 80s? A giant boombox. You darn GoBot! Turn off that awful noise. You're bugging the whole neighborhood with that racket. Excusez-moi, monsieur. Tournez la musique down. C'est bien? Perfect. Puffer for the win. Mangez de la merde. No, I'm too precious to die. Partez. Thank you. Au revoir. Not only does the stereo turn into a weapon, it also doubles as an energon container. What up, bro? Tout va bien, mon frère? The answer is B. They call him Buggy Robo because he's an Insecticon. Speaking of B... Hi guys, it's your good pal, Bumblebee. Can I be an Insecticon too? Get bent. Please. Who was that, bro? Je ne sais pas. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Bon voyage. Whether you know him from Machine Robo, Machine Men, Robo Machine, or GoBots, Buggy Robo here is a really good looking reinterpretation of the 80s toy. He was one of the last figures to come out of the Action Toys Machine Robo series. The series started out strong with 6 releases in 2016, and 2 more in 2017. 2 years after that, they released 1 more. In 2020, they released a big one. And the last 2 trickled out with little promotion in 2021. Images of these later series toys have been out for many years before this, as well as some other bots that they did not release. I'm not sure what happened. Perhaps this series was unpopular, or the business case wasn't strong enough to continue the line. Perhaps rights issues or license issues kept them from releasing bots like the heavily promoted Supercar Robo, aka Turbo, or the retool of Tough Truck into Pro Truck Racer. I suspect that Action Toys simply turned to focus on other, more popular retro anime toy licenses that they were producing. What bugs me about this toy? Hollow forearms, a small area of chipped paint right out of the box, high price, about 2.5 times the price of a Hasbro Deluxe, windshield scuffing because of that steering wheel, loose tolerances, the panels forming the legs don't make a firm connection, tight tolerances, overly tight tab slot connections when securing them into vehicle mode causes plastic stress. Where I think this toy succeeds, it's good looking. Quality materials. The die-cast metal parts, along with the paint, make him feel premium. Good scale, he fits in well with deluxe Hasbro Transformers, and a good transformation. A nice thing that Action Toys does is that they acknowledge their designers. This bot was designed by Jizai Toys, or is that Jizai Toys? He also designed bots like this, this, and this. Would I recommend getting this Buggy Robo? He is good, but I can't in good conscience recommend something that is supposed to be a premium product, but which features the tolerance problems that I brought up. A transforming toy shouldn't damage itself by the very act of transforming it. Action Toys had their designs worked out and in the bag as far back as 2015 to 2017. To be released so many years later in 2021 and not have these peg slot connections fine-tuned is inexcusable. Thanks for watching Cardboard Bots. See you next time. Like my vids? Buy me a coffee. It's easy. Visit coffee.com/cardboardbots.
Cardboard